There we go. Hey, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to a new show, a new night. Sorry that there is no hump day video to start the stream off, but it's not Wednesday. It's Tuesday. That's right. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you so much for coming along on this ride with me. For those of you who are here, remembering that I said last week that I was switching the show up from Wednesdays to Tuesdays. Might take a little bit for people to get used to that. Probably take me a little bit to get used to that as well. But thank you very much, everyone, for being here tonight. I got a good one for you again tonight. Some interesting stuff to talk about. Of course, you guys all saw the thumbnail, the main topic here. We're going to talk a little bit about Basic Fun, Arcade1up, some of the different, branding that they've got going on. Is it Ultra? Is it Deluxe? Is it Supreme? Is it XL? Is it Arcade1up? Is it Arcade Classics? All that kind of stuff. There's still a lot of logistics and things that I think they have to work through. And it's certainly confusing for a lot of us in the community who have been with Arcade1up for a number of years now, seeing Basic Fun come in and kind of take over and do things similar yet different. Let's put it that way. But we're going to get into all of that tonight. I do have a couple of other topics that I want to cover before we get into the main thing. And there is a poll in the chat for those of you guys who saw it. So I definitely want you guys to participate in that. So the poll is, which name do you prefer, Supreme or Excel? Of course, like I said, we're going to get into a bunch of different things in regards to branding, whatever. But I think that's one of the biggest ones recently that everybody's been talking about. And of course, your options are, I prefer Excel, I prefer Supreme. Either one is fine with me as long as they keep making them. And don't care, not interested is really for those people who the Supreme or the Excel isn't, what they're interested in anyway. Maybe they want to stick with the Deluxe or the Ultra or even, smaller units. But yeah, participate in the poll, and we'll get to that a little bit later on today as I start to get towards the topic. Let me take a minute. Let me say hi to everybody who's here, everybody who is coming in to the chat. Again, thank you guys so much for coming along on this new night with me. I absolutely appreciate you guys who are here. And of course, after this, if you're watching it on the repeat or whatever you want to call it, if you're watching it afterwards, thank you so much for, of course, checking out the video. First up tonight, first in the chat, Mike of all trades. Mo, good to see you. I hope you stick around because you're one of the topics tonight. So stick around. We got Calvin Wong. Sorry about that. Kevin Wong with a smiley face. We got JJ in the chat. Hey, Bill's Retro Gaming Show. I forgot you had moved to Tuesdays. Hi to the folks in the chat too. Yeah, Basic Fun A1up have created a bit of a confusing mess for themselves and the consumers, haven't they? Yeah, I do think that they have a little bit. And like I said, we're going to talk about all of that in just a little while. We got Fat Hog in the chat saying good evening. We got Jason Little Alien here. Jason, you have no idea how happy I am that you are here tonight. I know you excuse me, I know you weren't feeling too well last night. Glad you are feeling better, brother. Always good to have you here. Hey, we got Jabba here. Jabba's Game Hut. Good to see you, man. I don't know if you've jumped in on one of my shows before. Good dude. We've had some fun playing walkabout golf in the past. So yeah, I'm glad you're here, man. We got Vic Vicious here as well. Well, I prefer XL, but most importantly, I prefer accurate form factor cabs with just the marquee title game and correct controls. All right. Yes, it's a pre-hump day. Yeah. I have to think about something else, a new intro for the show. I was working on a couple of things earlier this week, like some AI stuff and whatever, and I wasn't really satisfied with any of them. So I'm sure something will come up maybe over the next couple of weeks, and hopefully I can surprise you guys with a new intro for the show. We got Jim the Pacers fan here. We got B Kirby. Always good to see you. We got Bobby One ALU. We had a good hump day run. Yes, we did. Hey, we got Sathius here. Hello, hello, hello. Stan ZB. We just need some new arcade titles. I don't care what they call them. Brune 1791. Good to see you. Supreme Pizza is good. Yeah, it can be. That's for sure. We got Israel Gaming here. I'm late, Bill and friends, at work at the moment. You're not late because we pretty much just started, but glad you're watching from work. If you don't get a chance to see the whole show, hopefully you'll catch it on the replay. We got my buddy Steve Sale here. Always good to see you. Burnt Orange Arcade. Hello, hello, hello. We got people putting in their votes for the next Supreme, the Star Wars trilogy. That was Sathius who put that up first. Yeah, I think we'd all be happy with a Supreme Star Wars trilogy. That is for sure. Video Game Vegas is here. He wants to know where his Tails cabinet is. Maybe that's the next one after Sonic. Let's see. James hates everything. Always good to have you here, brother. I prefer pleasantly plump arcades. Nice. That was almost a tongue twister for me. We got John J here. I think a lot of the people that are going to buy these products would want the Supreme just to get everything that they can possibly offer us. Arcades with big bones. That's another good one. Nope, sorry. Sorry, no risers. No risers. Oh, way too fast. Way too fast for your tech is here. Seems like BCOM's Wonderland Pinball Playfield was a one-off, or is it becoming a common issue? We're going to talk about that a little bit tonight, too, as a matter of fact. Yes, that was actually something that I considered is going with some kind of a Taco Tuesday thing. But again, we'll see what I don't know. The hump day thing just felt right, you know? So now I got to think of something that'll work. All right. And of course, yes, good to see you. Way too fast. We got Chris Nooner here. Hey, G.I. Joel, just don't call me late for dinner. Absolutely not. Well, I'm glad you like that. I'm also glad you got the reference. Not everybody does. But you know, and I thought about kind of doubling down on that too. There might be something in relation to that. We'll see. Let's see. Duskcade is here saying hello as well. And I think we're all caught up on saying hi to everybody who is in the chat. So let's jump into some things. Like I said, I've got a few different topics that I want to cover. And let's get this one out of the way because this one's been covered a little bit before. I know Michael B talked about this on his show yesterday. And of course, I want to give a shout out to Jay Pace as well. For posting in the iconic Facebook group. Let me start with that. Actually, let me bring that up first. Hang on. All righty, here we go. Nope. Where are you? There you are. All right, here we go. There we are. All right. Nobody puts Billy in the corner. All right, so we got an update on the iconic shipping. Again, shout out to Jay Pace for putting this in the iconic Facebook group. That the Street Fighter XXLs, there's a name for you, are now loaded on the boat and scheduled to ship out of port on its way to the U.S. This was yesterday, so hopefully everything went through today. And to that end, that's not what I want. Now we're going to go to this. And this is the actual manifests that we're talking about here, or at least one of them. There's two different ones. I think they both say the exact same thing. So it looks like as of today, the ship has sailed. The vessels have departed from wherever the heck they are there in China through this Yulsan Express, and they are on their way. It looks like as of right now, they are still scheduled to come into Newark on the 13th of April. So these guys are going to be pretty much on the boat for a month and a half from the looks of it, which strikes me as a really long time. But then again, I've never really tracked shipping containers from start to finish like this. So I don't know if that's standard, but it's a little over a month to get here, it looks like. And then from there, it's going to move through Newark to Indianapolis, out to California before it gets to the warehouses in California towards the end of April, and then hopefully into people's hands by the beginning of May. But there you go with just a quick update. On Iconic Arcade. Let's see. Who's a gambling man? Will Spreetail list the Iconic Arcade on eBay for sale before pre-sale buyers? You feel like they just did with Wonderland? I haven't actually checked the eBay listing, but I did hear somebody say that they were asked to take those down off of eBay because there was a little bit of an uproar from the people who backed the Kickstarter, some of whom haven't gotten it yet, that people could order them on eBay and have them like within a day or two, and they hadn't gotten them yet. So I think those might have actually been taken down, which is kind of interesting. Of course, we got Steve saying those will arrive on April 1st. How appropriate would that be at this point? But it's going to take even longer than that, which is pretty wild, actually. Mike Hawkhurst is here. I didn't realize it was Wednesday already. It's not, unless you're from the future. Are you from the future? That would be cool if you're from the future. I hope everyone that pre-ordered the Iconic Arcade gets tracking numbers and gets their cab shipped within 2 weeks of arrival. That would be nice, but again, we're going to have to see. And Neo's here. The ship has sailed, and if you tune in Thursday, you may get to see the final. Oh, really? That's interesting. That's interesting. So hopefully you guys have a little something to share with people. That would be nice. Oh, what did I do? I'm still rooting for Iconic Arcade and more. Listen, I agree with this statement, Video Game Vegas. I actually do. As much as we like to poke fun, I want to see all these companies succeed. I want to see competition because I like competition. I think it drives the industry. I would like to see them do more stuff. So hopefully all does go well with this. Let's see. If this were 2021, the Iconic would be in Walmart for $1.99 2 weeks before pre-orders arrive. Stranger things have happened. Let's not even go there. Double Take Entertainment. Something tells me these will end up in the ocean. Let's hope not. I think they're going to be fine. I think they're going to arrive here just fine. Again, it's a little weird to me that it takes as long as it does. Java. Oh, that's right. It's Wednesday here already. That's for you. It is, isn't it? Over there in the UK. What time is it? It's 8. So actually, same thing is true. My daughter and my granddaughter live in South Korea, and it is actually like 9 something in the morning there. So technically it's Wednesday there too. So, just like it's 5 o'clock somewhere, it's Wednesday somewhere. So happy hump day to all of you who it is Wednesday already. It won't DB. Oh. They gonna have a special guest on again that night? Maybe. All right. You know what? Since it was hinted at, let's move on. Let's talk a little bit about Wonderland Pinball. All right. Because I'm seeing a lot of people are posting that they're starting to get their product. Some people have gotten one of the boxes, some people have gotten both boxes. And we're already seeing some video reviews pop up on this. I want to give a shout out to good buddy Multicade Matt, who did a really great video, a very kind of brief unboxing and put together, and then reviewed some gameplay on this. And yeah, if you haven't checked out Multicade Matt's video, go ahead and check it out. He did a really great job of, like I said, showing off the boxes and putting everything together on this, and then showing off some gameplay. It looked like, from what he was showing, it looked like a lot of fun, and it didn't look like he had any major issues with it. Now, unfortunately, the same thing cannot be said for another YouTuber. Hang on, let me get this next one to come up. Here we go. And that would be come on, B Kong. So B did a live stream yesterday, him and Detroit Love, and you can watch this video on either of their channels. This is on B Kong's channel. Oh, I love commercials. Don't you love commercials? I love commercials. You can watch this on B Kong's channel, or you can watch it on Detroit Love's channel, as they streamed B taking his machine out of the box, putting it together, showing off some gameplay. But he did have a pretty significant issue with his. And now it's this. So B put this video out. I believe this was earlier today, right? Yes, this was earlier today that B put this video out. And he kind of hinted at this a little bit during his, his live stream and all, but now he's really showing the problem. He has a pretty significant warp in his play field. You can see where he's touching in the middle there, and it bulges up right kind of in the middle, like lower portion of the play field. And that is a big open area where the ball is going to spend a lot of time traveling when you're playing. And as he went through and did some gameplay, you can really kind of make out where the ball kind of changes direction, I should say, as he's shooting it and as he's playing. In some cases, it's really kind of subtle, or it's really hard to tell. But there were some, like right there, where as it was coming down, it kind of changed and moved more towards the slingshots at the bottom. And I mean, that's a real problem. It's definitely a real problem. And I know somebody brought it up in the chat before, but I hope it's not a widespread issue. I hope it's something that is maybe a one-off in his, or in very few, that they can replace it for him and figure out what the problem is. Let's see. We got Ted Adam Green here saying hi. Hello. Mike Hawkhart says Matt's video is great. It has me interested in the TMNT pinball rumored for the next. Yep. Oh, Mo, I'm currently recording nerd stuff, but I'm listening to Bill. Oh, I'm glad you're listening. Let's see. A surprise multi-game, I would go for this. It's just one game. I know, right? Um, and let's see. The Wonderland Pinball looks so beautiful. The only thing I'm worried about is Kong's warp playfield. This kind of thing happened on the remake of Fathom and wasn't fixable. Uh, uh, yeah, I know, Fat Hog. I had seen some photos from you that you had gotten yours. I'm glad to see that yours was good. So that's good. Yeah, so it's bad, real bad. I hope it's an isolated defect or they're in trouble. Yeah, for sure. Uh, oh my God. Okay, I gotta bring this up. Maybe the table got excited when Mrs. Cogsworth entered the room. But that's what I need. I need a little rimshot drum roll. Can you spell refund? Well, they got to do something. It's got look. Um, there is a warranty on them. I forget. I want to say it was like a year. Didn't they give a year warranty on the Kickstarter? But I know there is some warranty on it. So I something like that has got to be covered because as far as I'm concerned, and I'm sure as far as B is concerned, that is a manufacturing defect. That is not something that he screwed up putting it together. Um, Bobby One ALU, not surprised these things pop up. Wonderland is founded by old one up people. They use the cheapest Chinese suppliers. QA was a one up issue and will likely be with Wonderland. I hope their warranty is honored. Yeah, I hope so too. Um, so Fat Hog says 3 of 21 were reported so far. Now I did actually see somebody put up a poll on Facebook regarding this, but when I looked at it, it was like 50-50, but there was only like 4 people who did it. So two had the issue, 2 didn't. That's not 50-50. That's not even close to a real sample. So we'll have to really wait and see how many people actually have it. But I'll tell you, 3 out of 21 is not good. It's not good, and hopefully it's something that they can get sorted out. Um, just looks like the glue gave out or was spread too thin on his playfield. Again, that's a possibility, but that's something that should be done properly during the manufacturing process or caught in some kind of QA before it goes out the door or something. I mean, unless it was good in the shop and like you said, the glue gave out or whatever in transit, which I suppose is a possibility that it could have been fine in the manufacturing process and like you said, spread too thin or whatever, and just kind of gave way. Oh, I don't know about that, MG. I don't know if it's a $5 fix. It'd be great if it was. It'd be great if there's some way that he could, you know, fix that on his own, or if they had a fix for it. But uh, and yeah, very true. It isn't a Stern, that is for sure. But look, you spent $1,000 on something and you expect it to, at least be playable. That's for sure. Uh, at least they actually use plywood. The plywood isn't warped; it's the glue 100%. Okay. Again, hopefully it's something that they can figure out. Like I said, hopefully they'll honor the warranty on it and move forward. And if this is something in the manufacturing, hopefully it's something that they can figure out and fix as they start to produce more of these, or as they get into their next product with TMNT. Because I'll tell you, I watched Matt's video, I watched B's video, and other than that, they didn't really have any complaints. I mean, the only other complaint really was the fact that they used plexiglass instead of real glass for the top of it, which I can understand why. I can understand both sides of that. I can understand why they did it because it's less likely to break, in transit. But at the same token, glass would be a better experience for the table. So, or for the machine, whatever you guys want to call it. I know pinball people get crazy when you call it a pinball table instead of a pinball machine, but it's a toy pinball machine regardless in a lot of respects. So don't get too mad at me. uh let's see. Uh Someone mentioned that it might be the result of over tightening, and when they released the pressure, bulge went away. Yeah, I don't know about that. I suck at math, but that would be what, 7% reporting an issue? Not great. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Um, that apparently some people are fixing it by loosening the screws around the center of the playfield. That's interesting. That would almost tie into uh what Steve was saying about it being an over tightening, which is actually something that B brought up, that he thought it could potentially be an issue with that as well. So my fix for the Wonderland is to buy a brand new Elvira Stern. Oh, if only we all had that money. Uh, uh, yeah, that's not the kind of challenge you want. That is definitely not the kind of challenge you want. Hey, Mystery Encoder is here. Oh, good to see you. Yes. Yes, I have a show. Yes, it's now Tuesdays. Thank you. Um, in theory, it should be user fixable, just a pain that you shouldn't have to deal with out of the box. Ah, okay. Well, yes and no. Yes. Yes, I suppose. Yes, yes, yes. But in some respects, MG, I actually have heard people talk about things being over tightened on the playfield as being an issue. But yeah, okay. I will admit that went over my head. I will admit. But thank you for pointing it out. I appreciate that. Uh the fix won't be cheap. I'd imagine they'd have to send you a new playfield, and they need the old one back for parts. Yeah, again, unless like I said, unless it is something that you can do to unless it is something you can do on your own. But we'll have to wait and see. I'm sure B will follow up on it, and I'd be really curious to see what happens going forward. All right, let's move on from Wonderland, because again, I I think from the looks of it, it does look like it could be a lot of fun. It does look like it could be a pretty decent product. Hopefully, they learn their lessons from this. They figure out what this issue is. They move forward. I'm going to be curious to see what the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles one looks like if that comes about. So we will go from there. And yeah, so let's change let's change things up a little bit, and let's go from something that is not very good to something that is undeniably good. And that's this. And I said I was going to be talking about you tonight, and I didn't lie. This Sunday at noon, Mike of All Trades will be doing his annual fundraising stream, where he will be raising money for the Children's Miracle Network hospitals. Now, he has been doing this, I think, for what, the 5 years now? Is this the I know you, if you're still listening, is this the 5th year, or is this now the 6th year that you've been doing this? Because I think it's something like that. But it looks like this starts on Sunday at noon Eastern, and I don't know exactly how long he's going to go. I'm sure he's going to go for several hours, probably most of the day. If you get a chance, drop in, watch the stream, check it out. But if for whatever reason you can't watch the stream on Sunday, or even if you want to give beforehand or afterhand, you have an opportunity to do that. All you have to do is go to the Extra Life website And I will have links to all of this in the description after the video. Jason, if you want to throw up some links, you could do that as well. But you can go right here. You can donate at any time. Okay, so fifth year. So it looks like this is the fifth year that Mike has been doing this. He's got a goal set for 2000. He's got some incentives along the way. If he hits the halfway mark, he will shave his beard and keep it shaved for a month. Who knows? Maybe he'll even do it live on the stream for you guys. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. At 1500, he will bring back Shill and Chill as a weekly podcast. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool if he'll do that. So that's something to strive for. And of course, $2,000 means heartfelt thanks and for support and whatever. But really, that's the goal. The goal here is to raise money for a very worthwhile charity, and I commend Moat for doing this, for taking time out of his busy schedule, for taking a Sunday every year to do this, to risk his facial hair and doing this every year. One year, I think he shaved his head. I think he shaved his eyebrows or something. He's done some pretty crazy stuff for this before. So he's actually kind of keeping it chill this year with these milestones. But who knows? Maybe he'll throw some out there along the way as the stream goes on. But throw him some love, throw him some support this charity. It is for a very good cause. But I wanted to bring that up because luckily I remembered it was coming up this Sunday, and I really wanted to share. Yeah, Mo. Yeah. Like I said, I told you I was going to be mentioning you on the show, and it's all for good stuff. So again, thank you for doing this, Mike. You're a good dude, and I'm always pleased to see you do this every year. And of course, Jason, thank you for throwing that up in the chat. I appreciate it. Let's see. Yeah, it's a good, like I said, it's a good cause. I want to see the 3,000 goal and see Moat reenact Magic Mike dancing. Oh, okay. So this is technically the fourth year. Okay. Okay, there we go. Still, you've been doing this for a couple of years now. So congrats on that. I think it's pretty cool. And like I said, I wanted to just shine a quick spotlight on it. Among some things that are good, some things that are not so good. This is something very positive that, like I said, needs to be promoted. Yeah, I agree with this statement 100%. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Jason stepping up. You doing any giveaways as well? I'd be happy to add something to the pot. So you guys definitely need to talk about that. So good for you, Jason. That's another thing. Jason is always on the ball with that kind of stuff, willing to give stuff away on streams and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. All right. Let's get into what is basically the main topic of the night now, and that is Arcade1up. Oh, hold on. I haven't adjusted the time, but it's going to be on Saturday, March 21st, so that everyone can watch from 12. Anyone who donates will be entered. The shave will be live on stream. There you go. Okay. Okay. So I'm a little early, but it never hurts to promote it. Thank you, Mo. I'm glad that you said that. Now that I've told everybody to watch on Sunday. So March 21st is now when it's going to be, which is a Saturday, 12-hour stream. We'll be shaving live on stream. And this I understand completely. Yep. Anyone who donates will be entered. I guess he's got some other incentives and some giveaways that he's going to be doing. March 21st, then people can get those from put some money aside for this. Oh, there you go. Look, you got MG's interest. That's always good. So it does sound like he's got some promotions and some giveaways and stuff to do. So all good. So yeah, all right. Be sure that you donate, number one, and be sure that if you can, you watch the stream on March 21st, not this Sunday, March 21st, Saturday, and check that out. All right, let's move on. Let's start talking about Arcade1up and all this stuff now. And before I do that, let's go ahead and end the poll. Let's see where we are here. We've had 55 votes. I think that's good. We'll end the poll. And here we go. So here's the results of the poll. Sorry, I do not know how to bring this up on screen, but you guys should be able to see it in the chat. Actually, let me see something. Oh, I'm moving stuff around too much. Hang on. Nope, wrong one. If I bring up the chat, does it show it? Probably not. No, it does not look like it shows it if I bring up the chat. All right, never mind. I'll just read it off. So, interestingly enough, there's a tie here. So, I prefer XL, and either is fine. Just keep making that size. Tied at 35%. Next is don't care, not interested at 25%, which is, again, basically for the people who aren't interested in that Supreme or XL size at all, more interested in like the Ultra or the Deluxe, whatever. And very interesting, at only 5%, people said they prefer the name Supreme. Well, yeah. Yeah, I probably could have done that. I got to get better at this stuff. That's true. I probably could have done that. All right, so that is kind of interesting. That only 5% like that name, because unfortunately, I think that name is going to stick. This was a post from Neo on the Arcade1up official fan page, promoting a short that they did, which was a little snippet from one of their recent shows. It says, on last show, Arcade1up official said, we will continue calling them Supremes, and followed up with, Supremes are here to stay. What are your thoughts on this change from XL, and is it more or less confusing? And then, of course, if I take a look at, this was the short that they put up. I'm not going to play it. You guys can check that out for yourself because I'd have the sound down on it anyway. But they did comment on the short, and they said, better get used to it, fellas. Supremes are here to stay. So this is Arcade1up saying, that's it. That's the name. We are sticking with, 5% is like 3 people of the 55 poll. Yeah, so it's not a lot. So it's not a lot. Earlier, 7%. Yeah, but 7% having a problem is a lot different than 5% saying they like something. So, take it for what it is. And this is a very true statement too. If you ask 10 random people which word means better, Supreme, or Ultra, nobody would know, and that's very true. So, but here's something that I wanted to bring up, because people may not know this, or maybe people have forgotten, but Arcade1up didn't come up with the name Excel. The home arcade community did. actually. If you go back to the first XL from Arcade1up, I'm not manipulating anything. If you go back to the first XL from Arcade1up, it was the NBA Jam Shack Edition, and that's what it was called. NBA Jam Shack Edition. It was not called XL. People started referring to these as XL, and then Arcade1up kind of latched on to the name, and that became the branding for them. I think it came about with the next one, which was Golden Tee, that actually got referred to as an XL. Could have been the one after that. I don't fully remember, if I'm being honest, but it wasn't there. It wasn't there originally, right? The first was Shack, and that's all it was. It was just Shack. Oh, come on. So then Arcade1up kind of took over the name XL, and that's what they became going forward. Then Basic Fun came out, and they started making their arcade classics line. And I think in an effort to differentiate themselves from Arcade1up at the time, they started calling them Ultra and Supreme. But they really were the same thing as Deluxe and Excel from Arcade1up. Same, similar size, similar form factor, all that kind of stuff. They just had a different name for them. And again, I think at the time, to try to not be confused with Arcade1up. Now, here we go, fast forward, around a year later, and Basic Fun now owns Arcade1up in a lot of ways. And what's funny about this, and I know J.I. Joel is in the chat, and he kind of jokingly reminded me of this a little earlier tonight as well. If you remember when a lot of us started covering this kind of stuff, Basic Fun was very adamant that we don't refer to these machines as Basic Fun machines. They wanted them called Arcade Classics. That was the brand for them. And now, again, with the acquisition of Arcade1up, everything's kind of switched up a little bit. And I want to show this. Yeah, we came up with it, but A1up used it and printed it on boxes. So why not stick with what people know? I would agree with that. Now, this is something interesting too that just came in. It was either yesterday or no, I think it was late last night or early this morning, depending on your point of view. So this is an email that came in from Arcade1up regarding the WWE Supreme, which interestingly enough still has the Arcade Classics branding on it. But of course, this is Arcade1up promoting it at Sam's Club. And what I really want to talk about is this right here. Okay. So at the bottom of this email, it says, with Basic Fun's acquisition of the Arcade1up brand, we're investing in the future of home arcades, taking what fans love most and applying it across our products. For a period of time, branding may vary across our lineup, but the goal remains the same: premium features, authentic gameplay, and the joy of the arcade at home. Now, you can take that statement for what it's worth in terms of investing in the future of home arcade and premium features and all that kind of stuff. What I really want to focus on for the purpose of today and this topic is this admission that for a period of time, branding may vary across our lineup. So they are at least they are somewhat acknowledging the fact that branding is a little bit of a mess right now. That you've got some things marked arcade classics. You've got some things marked arcade one up. Um, is it ultra? Is it deluxe? Is it supreme? Is it excel? All that kind of stuff. But it does look like as they start to move forward, excuse me, as they start to move forward with a lot of this, um, it's going to be a little bit of a mix. They are trying to keep a lot of the arcade one up. What's going on with that stool? What stool? What did I miss? Um, it seems like they are trying to keep some of the stuff from Arcade One Up, but um, keep some of the naming that they'd already brought up with Basic Fun and the arcade classics like the Supreme and the Ultra, which is again very weird to me. I would agree with a lot of people here. I think it makes more sense to just fall back on what Arcade One Up did, go back to calling them Deluxe and Excels, and there is a little bit more to this. I've got a little bit of somewhat breaking news for you guys tonight because as I was putting this topic together, as I was going through all of this and trying to like get some stuff together, um, one of the things that I also wanted to talk about was their website. It was the fact that there's two, disparaging websites right now. You have the Basic Fun website, which only has the Arcade Classics brand on it, and even on their website, the arcade classic stuff that they showed was just those little mini handhelds. They never updated their site for these newer Supreme, Ultra, whatever, arcade classics. Then you had the Arcade One Up site, which was actually still being updated a little bit with some stuff, but completely separate from Basic Fun. Well, as of earlier tonight, that has now changed. And here we are with the Basic Fun site. Same Basic Fun site that people have seen lots of times. But if you go to brands, you will now notice something. They now have Arcade One Up listed as a brand on their website. Now they still have the Arcade Classics, and if I go to Arcade Classics, it's the same thing that it has been for forever here. It's focused on the little mini handhelds, which like I don't want to necessarily take that to mean that that's all the arcade classics are going to be going forward because this has never changed for them. However, they have now added Arcade One Up as a brand. And if I click on this, it now goes to a redesigned Arcade One Up website. This, and by the way, this is arcade1up.com. If you just go straight to arcade1up.com now, this is the website you see. I shouldn't say they've completely revamped it because a lot of it is very much the same as it was before. You've got a new kind of landing page here, which focuses completely on the Basic Fun cabs. However, if you go to shop arcades, they are, they are continuing to update this because earlier tonight, there were only 5 cabs on here. The 4 remaining at this point, I guess, Arcade One Up cabs, Mortal Kombat, Class of 81, Pac-Man, and Golden Tee, all still deluxe, by the way. And the only Basic Fun one was this new WW Supreme. They have since added Star Wars, Centipede, and the Ultra WWE. So this is literally brand new as of today. This is like within the last few hours they have updated this. So I'm going to give them credit. At least they're actually starting to move in the right direction for this. And again, if you click on one of these, like the Supreme here, you're going to notice it's the same template. It's the same kind of look that this website has always had when showing off these cabs. So they didn't revamp it completely. They just kind of changed the launch page, changed up some of the products on it, but it's still got that kind of same look and feel that it always had before. And yes, they do have the licensing note on here about the missing wrestlers from WrestleFest, which is good. I'm glad that they did that. They've got a link to order it from Sam's Club, product details, all kinds of stuff here. I haven't really checked out any of these. Let's check out the Star Wars one. Again, it's got a link to order it from Amazon and all the information on it here. I'm not going to go through all of this. I just wanted to point out that um, Arcade1up exclusively confirmed Galaga Supreme for me, so I'm starting a new show in your whole time slot. Go for it. You can have it. um, Another thing I want to point out is here, if you go to latest news now, before this, the last news was this from like a year ago. Now they've got the brand new notice here about the Arcade1up acquisition, the Sonic. This is the same information that we saw come out of Toy Fair, but now they've posted it directly to their website, which is something that wasn't there before. But there is a glaring omission from this website. One thing that is missing here, there is no mention on this product page, at least so far. Again, they are continuing to update this, so we'll have to kind of see what happens over the next few days or weeks or whatever. There are no Infinity game tables or Infinity game boards. And the old Arcade1up site had a link up, up where the the title, where all this stuff was, where the menu was, to the Infinity game website. That is no longer here. So does that put another nail in the coffin for the Infinity game table and the Infinity game board after they've already lost Hasbro? They removed the Hasbro games. That was one of the things that I noticed on the website. It did recently get updated to take off any mention of the Hasbro games with the Infinity game board and game table. Now gone completely. So I'm wondering if either that was one of the assets they didn't bother to grab, or are they just going to kill? Did they have them and they're just going to kill the line? Or like, if they didn't grab them, would somebody else possibly pick it up and run with it? I don't know at this point, but I will tell you, it's not here. So that leads me to believe that this may be confirmation that they're starting to do away with it. No, the phone booth is not there. I'm gonna go back through the chat. I know a lot of you have been talking, and I've been kind of rambling, but I wanted to get all of my thoughts out on this, and then I'll go back and read through some of the chat in just a minute. No photo booth. Interestingly enough, no claw machine either. The SpongeBob claw machine had actually been on the Arcade1up website prior to this, and it's not here either. So I don't know what that means for the claw machine as a product either. But again, before I get into too much of a panic about that, earlier today, this wasn't even linked to Basic Fun. A few hours ago, they had 4 products on here. Now they have 8. Websites take a while to update. So that's why I'm not surprised that it took them a little bit to get to this point. I mean, if anybody thought that they were going to announce that Basic Fun was going to announce that they acquired Arcade1up, and then like the next day, everything was just going to change over, you were kind of kidding yourself. These things take time to work out, to decide what you want to do, how you want to do it. Websites take time to update. Again, this is not a huge makeover, but it is a change. So, these things do have to take that. Now, this is interesting. They've got, they have this on the front page here. If I go to it, and it doesn't even, now it goes to these, the classics, which aren't even on the shop all. So obviously there's a lot of stuff with this that they're still working on. This website is obviously going to change over um the next few days, weeks, or whatever. So, once they kind of settle everything in, then we'll know a little bit better what is really still a product and what isn't. But to me, not having like the claw machine or the photo booth or anything like this here doesn't really concern me too much just yet. And again, unless you're a fan of the game tables or the game boards, it's probably more concerning that there's no link to the website for the Infinity game table on the menu part up here. Not fake news. Any Hasbro games not played after a certain date were not considered part of my account, despite previously having them on my table. I have video proof that they were and marked owned. Yeah, I honestly think that was the beginning of the end for that, for sure. The only other thing I want to mention really, really quick, and then, like I said, I'll just kind of go back through the chat a little bit, was that if you do wind up going to Amazon and looking this stuff up, there are still two distinct stores on Amazon. You've got the Arcade Classics store, which has, again, all the basic fun arcade classic stuff. And then there's a separate store for Arcade1up stuff. So these have not been combined in any way, shape, or form yet. Oh, they still have the Infinity game table here on Amazon. Which still looks like it has Hasbro stuff on it. But anyway, so that's something that, again, also we'll have to see. Is that going to be merged? Are they going to keep those separate? But from what I understand with that, that's not even really, you can't even put that on Arcade1up or Basic Fun, because I think, and I don't, Neo, maybe you're here, maybe I think that's a Spreetail thing. If not Spreetail, definitely like a third-party company that handles the stores on Amazon. Most likely Spreetail, but it could be somebody else. Let me jump back up in the chat and start going through some stuff here, because I know you guys have been saying a lot, and I've been saying a lot, and I haven't really been paying enough attention to the chat. So they bought A1up assets only to use their own naming. I don't get it either. Yeah, kind of the whole point for sure. Joel, Arcade1up didn't come up with Slim Katie either, and I'm sure they would prefer the community to stop calling it that. This is so true. Yeah, that's one I don't think that we will see them adopt. I do not think that they will call them Slim Katies. Only one Supreme, and it wasn't MK. Yeah, they did have a Supreme Mortal Kombat, which was one of those collab cabs, further mucking up the waters. Telling them not to call it something is probably just going to make people double down. I don't care what they call it, as long as it's not Sonic. Yeah, I guess so. Let's see. Doesn't help if you stamp Basic Fun all over the cabinets. Well, see, now that's the interesting thing, too, with these is they kind of didn't really. There was very limited actual Basic Fun brandings on the cab. It was very small, and it was just in a few places. Not like Arcade1up, where it was freaking Arcade1up all over the place. It's like you knew it was an Arcade1up because it had said Arcade1up everywhere. So at least I'll give them credit for not going super crazy with that. But yes, I agree. After saying, oh, they're not Basic Fun, they're arcade classics, but The only place it said Arcade Classics, I think, was embossed on the the coin door, which the only one to have a coin door is the Supreme. I don't think they really said Arcade Classics anywhere on them, or if they did, um, again, it was small lettering somewhere. So, um, again, further like confusing the subject for sure. Um, the issue is not really Excel or Supreme, but what are they going to call the regular cabs, Deluxe or Ultra? There's nothing Ultra about the Basic Fun's first run of Ultra cabs. Yeah, I understand that sentiment completely, but my guess is if they're going to stick with Supreme for the bigger ones, they're probably going to stick with Ultra for the regular ones, or what we would normally have known as Deluxe. Um, yeah, and again, based on general marketing technical definitions, Ultra is generally considered greater or more intense than Supreme, which again makes it very weird. Like Neo was saying earlier, if you asked 10 people which is better, Ultra or Supreme, you'd probably be split. Like people wouldn't know which one was better. Oh boy. So, some of these I gotta leave alone. Oh, some of these I definitely gotta leave alone. Thank you. I appreciate that. Uh GHL, so glad I don't have to worry about what to call it because I'm never going to make them. Let's see. Basic Fun has said they want to use Arcade1up since it's more recognizable. So why wouldn't they keep the line branding for the same reason? It's all good questions. These are all good questions. Well, yeah, okay. So they kind of have no choice. Had stuff in pipeline. Went up, got sold in desperation. They took advantage of an unplanned opportunity to buy assets. Yes, and to your point on that, Bobby one ALU, Bobby one ALU. I'm just just refer to you as Bobby because I can't talk for some reason. Um, everything we've seen so far up through and including the Supreme WrestleFest have all been Basic Fun Arcade Classics cabs. None of these are Arcade1up cabs, even though Arcade1up is now promoting that WWE Supreme through their email branding and things like that. It's technically not an Arcade1up cab. These are the cabs that have been in motion for the past year, well before the company was sold. So, you know what? Why can't you just let the first run be the first run and then pick up from there and go forward using the old Arcade1up naming? Hell, you can bring these out again a year from now and just rebrand them XL and Deluxe and whatever and just re-release them. Isn't that quote unquote on brand for Arcade1up anyway, to just re-release cabs over and over again? Who says that they're not going to re-release these WrestleFest cabs again a year or 2 years from now and just call them Deluxe and XL? Man, we never had Deluxe until a couple of years ago. The old 4-foot cabs on risers were not Deluxe. Before that, before that they were Legacy. Then Legacy went riserless and became Deluxe. So Arcade1up was constantly rebranding anyway. So I guess maybe it's okay that they're rebranding them to Ultra Supreme. I don't know. Maybe I just killed my own argument on that one. I don't know. I'm gonna have to think about that one a little bit more. I may have just killed my own argument on that one. Let's keep moving on the chat. Da, 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 da. It's kind of hard going from a competitor to owning the competition. maybe not necessarily for a company like Basic Fun when you consider how many brands that they own. I think that they're kind of used to that somewhat. Uh, Boxes were already printed before they bought A1up. It's another conspiracy. uh, oh, thank you, Bobby. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. That's nice of you to say. Thank you. Uh, so yeah, finally got the website fixed, which is progress. Bright XL. Wait a minute. It didn't actually. Wait a minute. Are you right on that? Hold on. I know I saw the light bright. It didn't actually say XL, did it? That would be funny as hell. I'm gonna have to wait for it to come around again. Let me keep up with the chat. Uh, let's see. So can we stop talking about Basic Fun now and only refer to them as Arcade1up? At this point, yeah, actually, you're right, MG. Light Bright Touch XL plus Mini. So they have a Mini and an XL. So they'll call the Light Bright XL, but they won't call the XL an XL. Oh my God, that's funny. Thanks, MG. I appreciate you too, man. That's pretty funny. Oh, video game Vegas, you and your risers, you're too much. I think you're the only one I know that still likes risers. Uh, Maybe Basic Fun can give Iconic Arcade the phone number for their webmaster. Well, like you, yeah, at least they're actually finally updating it. I guess since we forced them to announce the acquisition before they were ready, they didn't quite have time to get things. I don't know, but I don't know about that so much. Like I said, I just think these things take time in general. Oh no. Did he really? Must have been watching. He just put out an 18-minute video about the Cavs being on the A1up site. Did he at least thank me? Bastard stealing my content. I'm kidding. I love Mike. Mike's awesome. He probably just noticed it for himself and made a video. Let's see. For Infinity, without Hasbro, the product is worthless. Yeah, unless Mystery Encoder can do something to them. If that's I think they actually did do something at one point, didn't they? I think they had something for and then just lost interest and didn't bother to go forward with it, or maybe people just weren't that interested. Who knows? If they're done, maybe Mr. Encoder will decide to actually do something about it. This is another. Thank you, Stupid Fat Hobbit. Thank you for bringing this up because I wanted to talk about this real quick too. Is the A1up app still active? The one where you can try? Yeah. So technically, yes. The Arcade1up app is still active. I do think it actually still updates scores for the cabs that are out there that have the leaderboards on it. If you go again to that Arcade1up website, if you go into the cabs like Mortal Kombat and Pac-Man and all those, they've still got actually links to go and download the app on there. However, if Arcade1up going forward are not going to incorporate Wi-Fi and leaderboards, it kind of takes away a lot of the usefulness of the app. Not that the app was all that useful to begin with, unless other than, keeping track of the cabs you own, which let's face it, most of us can go into a room and go, I own that one, I own that one, I own that one, and we know what we own. So it would not surprise me if they wind up killing that soon too, if they're not going to have cabs with Wi-Fi and leaderboards in them that would link to the app. But Stupid Fat Hobbit, thank you for bringing that up. That was something I actually did want to mention tonight. It's interesting. MG saying that he still got his Hasbro games. Yeah, Fast and Furious is not on the site either. But again, I still think they're still in the middle of updating, so it may show back up again. I wondered that too, but so far that's a no. They have not. But again, I've made these videos before where I say stuff like this, and then within a few hours or the next day, stuff changes. So who knows? I think right now they're focused on the website. If they plan on maintaining and updating the app, I think that's going to be secondary. I think they'll finish whatever they have to do on the website first and then focus on the app. That is, if they even still have people working on the app. Don't know. So yes, this is very true. At least the games you bought and owned on your iArcade are still there to this day. My affinity works says it has since I bought it to hold my coffee mug. uh latest update is from August, which is well before the acquisition. Um Arcade1up has built an audience when it comes to three-quarter scale machines, so I think it's smart that way, but Arcade1up hasn't been a stellar company. And there's definitely some truth to that as well. I know I'm way far back in the chat there. Hey, Cornercade, good to see you here. Yeah, it is. I agree, which is why I wanted to talk about it tonight. It is complicated, but I think over time it's going to get better. Like I said, I when I first wanted to talk about this earlier today, there were still two separate websites. Now with the websites being merged and updated, it feels like it's a sign that they're moving in the right direction, that they're trying to bring the two companies together in a manner that would somewhat make sense. Again, still confused on a lot of the branding with things. I know I'm so far behind. Let me jump down in the chat here. Hey, Gamer Fridge, good to see you. Yeah, we'll just call them Basic Arcade1up Fun from now on. Yeah, I hope you had a good time, man. It was good to see that you got to hang out with GI Joel today and do some stuff. So that's pretty cool. So far today, that hasn't been the case. Maybe they don't know I switch days. We'll have to wait and see. But or either that, or maybe they were afraid to come in the chat today after their little talk with 19K Fox on Mike's show yesterday, or who knows what who knows what I was going to say regarding all of this. But yeah, see, James knows. It takes years to merge systems and stuff. It will take time for products to move through their life cycle, all normal stuff. I would agree with that. Like I said, at this stage of the game, for them to be making changes to the website, for them to be merging stuff together, I think is a good sign. So while I do still think that there is a lot of confusion, I think over time, maybe it's just something we have to get used to. He said, I did almost kind of kill my argument a little bit earlier when I talked about the fact that even Arcade1up has changed branding over the years, whether it was um, their initial cabs with the risers to, adding more games on them, calling them legacy, and changing the ones with no risers to be the classic line, to then deluxe, and then having these larger cabinets that ultimately became the XLs. maybe this is just another evolution at this point now. Maybe this is just another rebranding to go from Deluxe to Ultra, to go from XL to Supreme. Now, again, I'm with you guys. Excuse me. Apologize. Had a little something catching my throat there for a second. I'm with you guys on the naming. I'm not a fan of it. I don't think Ultra and Supreme really describe the products very well, where I think Deluxe and Excel actually do a better job. So it would be nice to see them stick with that. But maybe, again, maybe this is just the next step for them in branding, and it's something we're going to have to get used to. And 2 years from now, they'll start calling them something else, and we'll complain that they're going to change the name in 2 years from now. But we'll have to wait and see if that happens, when that happens, if they stick around long enough. Hopefully they will. Hopefully all will go well with this, because again, I would love to see everything continue. I know, Video Game Vegas. You're so funny, you and your risers. Look, you can still add a riser to these things. Lots of people make risers. GI Joel makes risers. You can add a riser. But guys, let me leave it there. Because I think I've hit pretty much just about everything that I wanted to talk about tonight. I don't think I've cleared anything up. Maybe I've made it more confusing, but I think they're moving in the right direction. I think it's good to see some movement on the website. I think it's good to hear from them. We may not like the fact that they're going to just call them Supreme, but at least we've gotten some confirmation that, yes, that's the name going forward. So we don't have to wonder about that. But guys, thank you so much for stopping by, because I can keep rambling all night, and I don't want to do that. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that, as always. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you for coming by on a Tuesday night, the new home of Let's Talk with Bill's Retro Gaming Show. I will be back next Tuesday, hopefully with another show. I got some stuff going on this weekend that may or may not impact next week. We'll see. I'll probably tell you a little bit about that on the next show. But enjoy the rest of your night, whatever you guys have planned. If you're just going to chill, if you're going to go over and watch Rascal and Chaotic on that gaming show, I don't have a redirect set up for them. I think they started about 9:30. But yeah, again, thank you guys for being here. I absolutely appreciate it. And I will catch you guys next time. And until then, take care and happy gaming.